What up, everybody? In for season 3, episode 9, after finding out that Mireya is pregnant and snatching up Tommy and Miguel for disobeying him, targeting the Marquez cartel without his consent, Chay threatened Tommy and Miguel that if they disobey him again, that he would take out Mireya and make them watch as he did. Keeping in mind that this isn't the first time that Chay has threatened Mireya, going back to season 2 when he was first introduced after the Serbs shot up Miguel's spot and Miguel wanted to retaliate, but Chay wouldn't let him because he was also in business with the Serbs at the time. Chay also threatened to take out Tommy's entire family at least twice so far in season 3 as well. But this time in episode 9, we can see by the look on both Tommy and Miguel's faces that they didn't appreciate Chay threatening Mireya. And either though I understand why Chay makes these threats as he's trying to keep things in order and everybody in line, I also feel like some of his threats are extreme at the same time. Like when he said he would take out Tommy's entire family if he didn't move all the product in 24 hours. But part of the reason Chay might be so loose with making threats against people's families is because he's already lost a son to the streets himself. Keeping in mind that it was revealed in episode 1 of season 3 that Miguel killed Chay's son to become the leader of the Insane Princess. And with that said, while Chay's constantly making all these threats, there's also a wild card that could come back into play as well, and that's the fact that Chay also has a daughter, as we saw her quinceañera party in season 2 when Tommy first met Chay. And with that said, I'm reminded of how Tariq flipped the script on Noma by mentioning her daughter, Anya Covington. And speaking of Tariq, I'm also expecting Tariq to show up in Chicago in the finale to help Tommy with his war in Chicago. And with that said, I've seen several comments lately saying that Tariq isn't going to show up in Chicago by himself, but he's going to have some Nigerian soldiers with him as well after taking over Noma's organization. And this could be a possibility, but I honestly think if Tariq shows up with anybody, it's only going to be Braden Weston and maybe either Diana or Effie if they need a female to make a distraction for them. Because either though Tariq did replace Noma, getting his product directly from Chinadu, at the same time he also told Chinadu that Chinadu wouldn't ever even have to see his face again after that day, and Tariq was supposed to be like a ghost. So because of that, I don't think that Tariq has access to Chinadu's men like that. But with that said, Tariq's making enough money at this point that things should be a lot different for him next time we see him on screen, and he could easily hire his own soldiers now. But as Tariq is in Chicago, I think he'll overhear Tommy and the Chicago crew talking about having to deal with Chay and the problems that they've been having with him, and maybe even how he's threatened Mireya. And Tariq will let them know that if it's a connect that they're looking for, that he has all the weight that they need. Keeping in mind all the weight they showed at Noma's warehouse in Ghost Season 3 when Tariq first started working for her. I think that's a lot more than the re-ups Tommy and Diamond were getting through Chay. And once they realize that they have a new connect and that Chay is now expendable, they can make a move to take out Chay. And let me stop for a minute to address something else I've been seeing in my comments, and that's that Tommy is calling Tariq to be his new plug, not to help him in the war. And either though I think that Tariq could end up becoming the new connect, that's not why Tommy is originally calling Tariq. We know he's specifically talking about helping in this war because Tariq literally says, tell him to bring the smoke and we'll come lay him the out. Simple. Tariq wouldn't have responded that way over Tommy asking him for product. But after figuring out that Tariq could be the new Connect, I think that Tommy and Miguel will kill Chay to put an end to all the threats that he's been making. Either though, the wild card is the fact that Miguel killed Chay's son, and if that will come back into play at all, or will Miguel just let Chay know right before they take him out that it was him who killed his son. But when it comes to taking out Chay, I think one thing that Tommy and Miguel will have to do is pin it on the Marquez cartel. That way the Estrada cartel goes to war against the Marquez cartel, while Tommy and Miguel get their product from Tariq and flood the streets of Chicago. And the best way to pin it on the Marquez is leaving behind one of those Mexican passion flowers. That way, the Estrada cartel will automatically think it was the Marquez, and that would be an Easter egg to when Ghost tried to take out Lobos in custody and had his hitter leave a Jimenez card behind to pin it on the Jimenez. In my episode 9 recap, I mentioned how Diamond's death reminded me a lot of Monet's and how they both died protecting their family, and even how Monet had a moment with her kids in her final episode, like how Diamond had a moment with Jannard. But in the next episode, the finale of book 2, it was Noma who was taken out. So in the same type of way, I wonder if that will be another parallel we see in episode 10 with Tommy's Connect Chay getting killed. And just like how Noma's death put things in motion for Tariq to connect with Chinadu and become one of the biggest connects in New York City, Chay's death could put things in motion for Tariq to also become one of the biggest connects in the city of Chicago. Then at this point, having the first and third biggest cities in the U.S. on lock, it would be time for a national expansion. Like Tommy told Diamond at the end of season 1 that he wants the whole map. Or like how in season 2, when Diamond said that Tommy's plan was world domination, and he said, eventually. Then to set the stage for Power Legacy, Tariq and Tommy could become business partners, as Tariq could say that Tommy's gonna be his pipeline in Chicago and that all deals has to go through him. Then after setting up Miguel and Shanti as his distros in Chicago, assuming that they both make it out of force alive, Tommy could make his next move, potentially heading to LA where he was originally supposed to be going to plant their flag and expand to the West Coast. And this would be a perfect way to keep Chicago and the characters who survive as part of the storyline for Power Legacy. Keeping in mind that Gary Lennon said in an interview that the characters who survived Force, he made it to where he could tie them into anything that they do in the future. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.